that when I come back.
With the Ohio primary less than 2 weeks away, some super PAC ads are making air in our area. Tonight we're looking at one in particular that's been running against Senator Rick Santorum and asking, is there any truth to it? Ben has the reality check.
Well, as part of Reality Check, we are committed to taking a look at political ads and whether or not they are true or really just hatchet jobs. Here's one that's been running against Rick Santorum. It is paid for by the super PAC Restore Our Future. It's a pro-Romney super PAC.
How did Rick Santorum actually vote? Santorum voted to raise the debt limit 5 times and for billions in wasteful projects, including the Bridge to Nowhere. In a single session, Santorum co-sponsored 51 bills to increase spending and 0 to cut spending. Santorum even voted to raise his own pay and joined Hillary Clinton to let convicted felons vote. Rick Santorum, big spender, Washington insider.
So let's take this ad one claim at a time. Is it true that Santorum voted to increase the debt limit 5 times and voted for the billions in wasteful projects? Well, this statement is true. It's a little bit complicated, though. In 1993, when Santorum was a congressman, the House voted to approve a temporary increase in the limit from $4.1 trillion to $4.3 trillion. Although most Republicans voted against the measure, Santorum did not cast a vote. The next month, Santorum voted with his caucus against the omnibus bill in 1993, and that raised the ceiling to $4.9 trillion. But then came the votes to increase the debt ceiling in 1997, 2002, 2003, 2004, and 2006, 5 times. Those votes combined raised the debt limit by nearly $3.5 trillion, according to a Congressional Research Service report. So what about the claim that he voted for that Bridge to Nowhere in Alaska? Well, that is also true. On July 29, 2005, when Santorum voted with the majority for a transportation bill, it included funding for that infamous earmark for that Bridge to Nowhere. Now, if you don't remember, this was the bridge in Alaska that would have connected the mainland to an island of only 50 people. The cost for that bridge, $398 million. Not only did Santorum vote for that massive transportation bill that included the bridge as an earmark, he actually voted against an amendment that would have removed the bridge from the overall bill.
In a single session, Santorum co-sponsored 51 bills to increase spending and 0 to cut spending.
And that is also true according to the Club for Growth. In the 2003-2004 session of Congress, Santorum sponsored or co-sponsored 51 bills to increase spending. And he failed to sponsor or even co-sponsor even one spending cut proposal. In his last Congress, that was the 05-06 Congress, he had one of the biggest spending agendas of any Republican. But Club for Growth also says that earlier in his political career, that wasn't the case. Santorum did vote for a balanced budget amendment, to be fair, and a line item veto, but that was in 1995. So it seems the longer he was in office, the more money he spent.
Santorum even voted to raise his own pay and joined Hillary Clinton to let convicted felons vote.
Well, if you're paying attention, so far the ad has been correct in its claims. And here, well, it's no exception. 3 times in the early 2000s, Senator Santorum voted against an amendment that stated members of Congress shall not receive a cost of living adjustment in pay during fiscal year 2002, and then again in 2003, and then again in 2004. And as for joining Hillary Clinton to let convicted felons vote, again, it's true. Santorum was one of only 3 Republicans to vote in favor of that amendment to secure the federal voting rights of certain qualified persons who have served their sentences. The other 2, by the way, Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania, then Senator Specter, and then Ohio Senator Mike DeWine. So here's what you need to know. You know, I'm not a fan of super PAC ads, but this ad, despite the voice of that woman who sounds shocked and appalled and the unflattering pictures of Santorum, it's really quite accurate. Look, during the Bush years, spending was a different animal than it is today. But it's because spending was allowed to run wild in Washington for so long, and certainly throughout the 2000s, that we are in the financial position that we are today. And that is Reality Check.
If you'd like to make your voice heard in the story, you can head over to Ben's Facebook page. Find it by simply searching Ben Swan, WXIX.
Hey, I also want to follow up on last night's Reality Check about a new rule for the GOP State Central Committee that may effectively keep 2 of the 3 candidates in that race from being seated even if they won. Well, during one of our sound bites, the name John Becker was dropped. Mr. Becker is running for state rep of the 65th district in Claremont County. Well, I also heard from Mike Brim, who is also running for that seat, and Mike felt like allowing Becker's name to be dropped really amounted to free advertising. Really hope it didn't come out that way. But look, if you're voting in the 65th district in Claremont County for state rep, look carefully at both of the candidates, compare their platforms, and then vote for the man who you believe will best represent that area, John Becker or Mike Brim.